Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I am your host, David Moore. Welcome. All right, so today is Wednesday, September 17th, and it's 5 o'clock. So today we're working with President Energies, like the presidents of hell. Today I think I'm working with Malthus, and he's an Earl and a president. So next time I use a president, I'm going to make sure that, I don't know, I kind of like the idea that I'll stick with what they are described as first. So if it says that he's an Earl and a president, I'll just put him on a Tuesday. And I'll use him for like Earl abilities, just knowing that he has a secondary attribute, which is Mercury. So yeah. In my rituals, what I'm trying to do right now is get them, like when I summon the spirit, and then I have it at the center for Saturn, that whatever is going on in that day, whatever rituals I'm doing, I channel that energy into that planet. So it would be Mercury. So I'll channel the energy into that planet, and all the spirits that reside with it, that are associated with it, all the rest of the presidents and the Ars Goetia. So they can get things done faster, they can get things done and just be able to focus on what I want. Or, I'm also trying to like learn how to trust them and, just give them that energy, and whatever they decide to do with it is like, all right, cool, I like that. So, whether they're being like really chaotic or they're really helping people out and then kind of being chaotic, like I gotta trust whatever they have planned. So it's like, I have to know that they have their best interest for me, and that whatever they decide to do is going to be something that's aligned with my values. Because at the end of the day, they're like working from me. So they're just, and they know a little bit more. They see the whole picture, and I have to trust them, They see things on the other side that I can't see. Yeah, I curled my hair on the top with little rollers. But I like to run my fingers through my hair. I use these. All right. Yeah. So today I was using Halphus or Malphus. Let me see who it was. I think it was. Oh yeah, I did a little research on Marix. He's a great earl and a president, and he appears like a great bull with a man's face. His office is to make men very knowing in astronomy, all other liberal sciences. He can give good familiars, wise, knowing the virtue of herbs and stones, which be precious. And I should have brought the picture, but this is it right here. And in Pokemon, he would be Dugtrio. So I did a little painting of Dugtrio. And, you got the three little heads right there. And he's an earth type. This is an earth element. Mercury is earth. Yeah, so I'm just like, all right. What I kind of want to do also is like figure out how do the Pokemon, if I'm using them in a ritual, or because I just really enjoy Pokemon in general. And then knowing that they have these attributes gives it an extra like spice to it. And so I play the Pokemon emulator. I'm just playing Pokemon Red, and I just capture the Pokemon. I'll name them after the spirits that they're associated with, and then I kind of just see like how they work in battle, and if there's anything weird that I can like pick up on, like any like hidden tidbits. But so it's saying that he appears like a great bull with a man's face. I guess that's kind of true, because Dugtrio does kind of have like a man's face. He has a nose. His office is to make men very knowing in astronomy. So how does that work with astronomy? Can we think of that as like astral projections a little bit? Because usually I think of invisible or invincible as astral projection, because you're sending your spirit out there and it needs to be protected, and that's kind of what it does. And you can't really see it, like, but you can see it in your mind's eye, but you just physically can't see your spirit astral projecting, But astronomy, huh? So maybe that's kind of like how to travel in the astral world. So like if you can turn invisible, or like be able to like project yourself and then traveling through it. I don't know. We gotta like kind of, just think a little bit more like the ancients would, because ancient people, they would say something and it would have like a lot of different meanings to it, and it would be very like broad term, but at the same time it had a really good purpose. Liberal sciences are like learning how to like everything. Like when you go to school, you're basically doing liberal sciences: history, science, art, geography, geometry, math, etc. So that's kind of what that is. It's just like a broad overview of everything. Usually when I think of liberal sciences, I think of like freedom, like how do you become free, like how do you escape things. So I guess you could say it would be like a lawyer a little bit. And I know it's probably not exactly what they mean, but I try to use it that way, where it's like, all right, if I want to figure out how to like be free, like be more of a demon lord and less of a human, like I don't consider myself human, just demon lord, okay? But I don't want to be put into that category where I'm just like everybody else. So I'm like, the liberal sciences, I feel like, help you break out of that. Also, he can give good familiars and wise. So good familiars and wise. Yeah, familiars are kind of interesting because I think people mostly think that they're like little creatures or little spirit animals that help you, but I'm thinking maybe they're more like, maybe they can't be seen, maybe they can't be noticed. I think there's a part in this book where it says that you can see spirits but not really know or understand them, and you kind of just have to trust that they're there. And I think that's what that is. The familiar part is like, okay, they're giving you some kind of help that you can't really see, and you just have to trust them. So they're wise, knowing the virtues of herbs and stones. So yeah, it's a Mercury element is earth. So I guess that's where the stones and the herbs come from. And in Pokemon, I don't know. He has rocks and stuff, but I don't really see no herbs. But maybe he can grow them and things, you know? I don't know. We just have to keep working on it until we figure it out. Sorry. Let's see. Who are we working on again today? Let's see if I can find him real quick. Yeah, usually I'll just go to the little index thing that I have, and I'll be like, who do I want to work with today? And then I pick them. I think, who are we working with? Oh yeah, Halphus and Malphus. So that was number 30 something. 39. So the 39th spirit is Malphus. He appeared at first like a crow, but after will put on the human shape of the request of the exorcist. He speaks with a hoarse voice. He is a mighty president and powerful. Okay, so it was Marx that I was like, okay, he's an earl and a president. This one's pure president, so he's a Mercury. Hermes. He speaks with a hoarse voice. He is a mighty president and powerful. He can build houses and high towers, and can bring to thy knowledge enemies' desires and thoughts, that which they have done. He giveth good familiars. If thou makest a sacrifice unto him, he will receive it kindly and willingly, but he will deceive him that doth it. Ooh, so let's do some little conspiracy theories real quick. So if we think about it, all right, you know Edward Cullen, right? Okay. Well, in the Twilight books, he's a Gemini. In real life, the actor is a Taurus. So they're earth signs. But Mercury is an earth sign. Gemini is an air sign, whatever. But they have Mercury or Hermes ruling over them. And but in traditional, it would be Venus and Gemini. But in astrology, it's Mercury and Gemini. All right. So he's a mighty president, powerful, builds high towers. Okay, so he can read thoughts. And that just makes sense that the actor would be a Taurus, because that's like an earth sign ability. So Mercury is somebody that can read your mind. So if you wanted to know your enemy's desires and thoughts and that which they have done, I guess maybe it's not like right away where you're like, oh, I know what's going on in your head, but it's like he can bring to thy knowledge enemy's desires. So maybe like he'll figure out what's going on over there with that person, and then he'll kind of translate it to you some way, but without it being too like, maybe it won't happen right away, maybe it just takes some time. Or maybe what I'm noticing is like, if you work with the spirit and they are doing things for you, they're going to come back to you and they're going to let you know like, hey, this is what I did, this is how things are working right now. And it might take a week or a month, but they usually get the job done. But at least now you can kind of pick up on the signs. So if you're like, okay, I've been noticing this and that, I can tie in the fact that my spirits are working and that they're getting a little bit stronger and that they're understanding their roles and you're understanding their role. So I want to become a director, so I have to learn how to become a director, I guess. And in a sense, I feel like the spirits are helping me in a way, because that's what directors do. They like notice what's going on, and they pick up on any like signs or hints, and they do their best to make a film. So I guess I kind of have to tie that in there, weave it in there somehow. He gives good familiars. If thou makest a sacrifice unto him, he will receive it kindly and willingly, but he will deceive him that doth it. That's kind of what actors do. You like you give them things and then they'll deceive you, because it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's like a bad thing, but like you're like, okay, the actors are portraying a role and you're paying for that. You're giving them money, you're giving them your time, your energy. If thou makest a sacrifice unto him, he will receive it kindly and willingly, but he will deceive him that doth it. I also think that if you gave Malthus something, and he would deceive somebody else for you if you wanted, instead of just deceiving you. I feel like they're not limited to just one kind of idea, that they have a kind of like diverse role where they can do this and that, and they just put it down in the book as simple as they can, and it's up to you to like, how can I use that? So I could be like, Malthus, help me deceive or something. Also, I think, so I guess maybe there's like the part of me that does the spell, and then I put in whatever I want into it, and then they're going to put in their little mix, and I just have to trust whatever they're doing and not stress too much about like, this is how it has to be done, this is how it has to be, like, I want it this way. It's more like, all right, here you go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and if you do this and you do that, like, I just don't want to like be putting in so much work and then have them come in and do something maybe opposite, and then it kind of just makes it a little confusing. But I kind of have to just trust that we're gonna be able to be synchronized in a sense. He could build houses and high towers, and can bring to thy okay, so he could build houses and high towers. Houses and high towers. Okay, so in Pokemon he would be Cloyster. I don't know where you get Cloyster from this, but let's see. It's Shelder and Cloyster. Actually, if you look, it kind of looks like a tongue that Shelder does. He's like, Shelder. Okay. And then you have these like V's that kind of look like Cloyster. Like Cloyster does that opening, closing kind of effect. And he's... How do you make it not so bright? Okay. And Malthus is a president, so you can see that he has purple colors, and that's what he is. He's purple. He has a hard shell that's kind of earthy, you know? It's not necessarily water, but it's pretty earthy. Let's see. Does that make sense? Anyways, it kind of looks like Ghastly. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I feel like it does. He appears at first like a crow, so maybe that's why he's a Black Pearl. And I don't know. The next spirit, though, is also in the form of a crow, and that would be Gengar. So Raum is Gengar, or Ghastly and Haunter. So maybe that crow part is like that little dark shell of him, you know? Like, they just appear dark. Let's see. So what time of the day would he be? Let's look into our little compass. Next, I'm going to put the microphone somewhere else, a little bit easier, not in the way. Let's see. Yeah, my allergies are crazy today. I don't like it. Alright, number 39. So, number 39 is right there. Right under Scorpio and water. So, that's where Cloyster's coming from. That's where they get that water energy. Okay, so let's see if I can get it down right. Okay, so 39, somewhere right here. I think it's that purple one. 39's right here. And then you can see that he's associated with the moon and Scorpio, and he's associated with Scorpio and Aries. So that's probably where he gets that duality of like the spikes, and he'd be able to shoot them. And then he's also like, I don't know if he's poisonous, but I think he has this like poison, or the sharp horns, spike cannons and stuff. Yeah, but he's a president, so that's obviously why he's purple. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Info about the spirit that I'm working with today. So if, I don't know, maybe he'll build me a castle or a tower or a house or something. Build houses and high towers. So maybe I should just trust him, whatever he's doing with that, and just kind of go with it and see how he affects things for me. And see if he maybe at night or in my dreams he'll bring me some information about somebody that's an enemy, and like let me know like, hey, this person is, you know, this is what they're setting up for. We could do a little bit of this, we could do a little bit of that, or I got it all under control, don't worry. You know, I just gotta trust him. Gotta trust the spirits. Yeah, so I was thinking like in the ritual you have, I should have brought the other little thing too. But yeah, you have Saturn right here. So what you're doing is like, I'm right here because I'm obviously a Gemini and I'm in this little Venus sector. I'm an air sign. air element. And what I like to do when I'm role playing, which is really ritual work, because that's what rituals are, role playing. All right, I'm right here. I'm like casting a whole bunch of spells, and I summon this guy into this circle. So he's kind of, I guess you could say they're being interrogated. So that's what you do with the spirits. You interrogate them. You talk to them. You rehearse things and you kind of threaten them. But I like to do it with magic. So like I'll be shooting fireballs or different elements or just whatever I've been working on. I'll use that as a weapon in the astral realm. So like maybe lights or lasers or like beams or whatever. It could be whatever. Like however you fight. I don't know how you fight in the astral realm, but I do some crazy stuff. So I'm over here just like role playing, attacking this energy. But what I like to do, okay, that's me. I usually put a celebrity that's a singer here. I put an actor up here, and then I put a politician or a monarch here. And then what I usually do is I'll put this guy down here since today's Wednesday, so he has to be in the center. He gets the most energy today. He gets the most power up, the most bonus boons or whatever. And I attack him with my magic. So one part of me is destroying the Archon, so that'll be the celebrity with the magic spell. And then another part is making everything kind of better-ish. So like while I'm attacking him, I'm kind of putting in like a lot of good energy where like good things happen for them. So maybe they get like really good acting gigs or really good movies or inspire the writers. I'm just inspiring them, you know, with whatever magic I can, because I'm like really good at that. Like a lot of people, I'm like a huge trendsetter when it comes to a lot of things, and like if I like something or if I go towards something, people usually go for it too. So I'm like, all right, like let me open up the book, let me like give people something to live for, let me give them some inspiration, let me give them some fire. And then I go into their subconscious, which is the part that they don't see, like the part of them that is asleep. And then I kind of flip that around and I destroy that part of them, because if you destroy that part of them, they lose all of it. So usually in Persona, there's this thing called like a palace, and that's your subconscious. And the Phantom Thieves go into your subconscious and they go in there, infiltrate you. They learn things about you. They get stronger in there, and then they destroy whatever piece of you is in there that is detrimental to your health. So in the real world, you'll be like, wow, like I didn't know I was such a bad person. Like I really want to change. I want to do good things. So it's kind of like that. But instead of like helping them, I just destroy them. Sometimes I'm like, all right, who's worse, me or the spirit? Like, am I more geared towards destroying them, or is the spirit more geared towards saving them or helping them? So I kind of have to like decide, but at the same time I'm like, nah, I gotta be ruthless, I gotta be cold-hearted, I just gotta destroy their spirit, and in the real world, you know, their bodies will fail them. So yeah, in the astral battles, let's see how we're gonna do this. So if we have the other guys just watching and I'm over here attacking and he's in the center, what I like to do is use their magics to hurt him. So if I was attacking him, he would get hurt. If he's attacking him, he would get hurt. If he's attacking him, he would get hurt. So I would have to somehow use a lot of this energy to destroy this energy, because it's, you know, whatever. That's just how it works. So in the Yu-Gi-Oh game, they have light, fiend, dreams, shadow. So I'm basically having to fill them with dreams. But I'm like, isn't that a good thing for like an artist or an actor to be like, to see a dream? Because I feel like the dreams, they kind of work off of dreams. Like they're living a role. So if they see something and then they reenact it, they're kind of giving that, they're just using the dreams to their advantage. But I'm like, all right, how do I use dreams to hurt them? And I'm like, well, I could just inspire them a whole bunch, and then I can kind of like just use that energy to make sure it just keeps trying to destroy them. I think it's more about the intention. If you ever watch Harry Potter, they're like, oh, you gotta mean it if you want the Cruciatus curse to hurt them. You gotta want it to hurt them. You gotta want it to have pain or inflict some kind of injury. So I kind of just have to put that into my magic. Like, all right, like we're gonna go in there. We're gonna like make sure that we leave a mark. Just go for it. Just do it. You know, good practice. Good way to like use up your magic and not be so stagnant. For other people, I don't know how you guys do your magic. Some people just draw or sing. But I like to do all of that, and I like to use my magic in role playing. And I mean, it's honestly like the best way to do it. It's live action role playing, it's LARPing, but it's so fun because you get to like tap into the astral realm. You leave your mark, you leave your like signature, and it lives and it comes back to you and it makes you stronger. It's just that's how things work. That's how the Illuminati game works. They do the same thing. The actor, they're acting, but they're really in the astral realm and they're doing things in there, and they're affecting you. They're watching you. They're maybe copying you, or they're interacting with you as a character. Everybody's part of it. Nobody gets left out of it. So there's something that you can relate to. That's why when you watch a movie, you're like, I can relate to this so much. Or you're listening to music, like I can relate to this because they're using that other side of the world and they're profiting from it. But in my game, I want it to be like, all right, you're profiting, but am I profiting? All right, and how am I going to profit? And if it means your destruction that I profit off of, then I will. We don't know how it's going to end up. We don't know how it's going to turn out. We don't know what's going to happen. I just have to trust it and then see where it goes. But I do notice that whenever I fight back, my life gets better. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to keep fighting back. I'm just going to keep, using my magic the way I know how. I'm just going to keep using it to do astral spiritual warfare, and I'm okay with that. What I really like, what I've noticed recently, is there's like a lot of occultists that'll be like, oh yeah, like I love the occult, and then I'm like, okay, I'll like spiritual warfare with them for a little bit, and they're just really, really easy to beat. And then after maybe a year or two, they kind of give up and they're like, I don't want to be an occultist anymore. And I'm just like, I know it's not easy. It's difficult. There's a lot to learn from it, but at the same time, it's something you could be born with it, but I'm just better at it no matter what. Like I've gone to a lot of different witches and covens, and I've done my magic, and I'm usually just the strongest one. I know everything that they don't know, and I'm always willing to learn more, but I'm also really humble. But at the same time, I'm like super conceited. I'm a Gemini. I have like both polarities working on both sides. So even like videos like this, I'm like, man, I wish I could explain it the way I say it in my head or the way I do it, but like right when I get on video, I'm just like bah, or whatever. Even when I'm around people, I'm just like but usually I should be able to do more. I should be able to do better, but I think it's just gonna take a little bit of practice, a little bit of time, and also like it's a part of me that I don't really use very often, is like my social skills, like being able to, people were like, oh, you're really good at that, and I'm like, oh really, like I think I could be better. But like I think the more I talk about how magic works, I'll be able to like kind of look at it and critique myself and be like, all right, you need to work on this and let people know that, and this is what this looks like, and we can keep working. Let's see. So kind of in the astral or the spiritual warfare, what I like about that idea is, so if he's in the center, we have him in the center, and I'm attacking him, but I'm using this energy to like strike him. A thought that comes to my mind is in Final Fantasy Tactics, if you hit them from behind, you deal more damage, and it's easier to hit them because they have less evasion. So that just makes sense. But I'm like, well, I'm throwing like wealth and love and water energy at them, like the dreams, like how is that gonna hurt them? But I'm like, all right, just do it. Just like pump them up, fill them with as much water as you can until they explode, until they basically drown themselves. But I have to trust whatever the energies are doing. Maybe in the astral realm, there's like a lot of water building up around them, and it's be perfect for a prince to come in, and they're usually serpents, sea serpents, so they could just like swim right in and like go and just do some havoc. Because I've had dreams where I've seen Leviathan, like you can smell them, you could taste them, they speak, you can like, they're strong, but they're like also really caring and loving, but they're also like so scary that they like let you know like, this is what other people see, the scary part. You see the good parts because we love you, you know? But the scary part, like, you get a taste of it and you're like, wow, like, imagine if you were just a normal person and you saw the demons and the spirits in a dream, you would freak out. So I'm like, there must be something protecting them. But then I have to remember, okay, so he's in the middle, but he has all this energy. He has all these people, all these different signs, like, worshiping him. They're like, no, we don't want him to be hurt. And at the same time, they're part of that. It's in Pokemon, there's a thing I think called Soul Bond or Soul Tie or Destiny Bond, or pain share. So basically they're all feeling the same pain. They're all a collective conscience. So they're all feeling the same thing. They're all learning the same thing. They might have different levels of it. Maybe some have more money so they don't feel it as bad. Maybe some people have nothing at all and they're feeling it the worst. And then there's obviously the celebrities at top that like they don't feel nothing until the people at the bottom start like getting broken apart, and then they start feeling stuff. They start going crazy. You see like little Nas X walking around in the city, all cracked out, and people go crazy and they do like illegal things. So it just lets you know like the more your magic works on them, the more that they're gonna break down, and they're more liable to do things that are kind of crazy. So that's where the handlers come in. But even the handlers are having a hard time if like a sorcerer like me is coming through and just knocking them out. And to top it off, I'm in LA now, so like my magic's even more stronger because I could just go here, I could go there, I could use my magic here, I could use rituals, I'm learning so much about LA. This is my first time ever living here, so it's like my opportunity to like, all right, how are they using magic here? Like, what are they doing that's giving them all this energy? Like, and what are the people thinking? Because the people out here, they're busy. They got a lot going on. They have a lot of ideas. They know something's up, but I didn't expect them to be so ignorant in a way where they're just like, I think it's because they're busy. They're just trying to struggle to survive. And I'm just like, dang, like this is your life. Look, like you're trying so hard to live that you don't even have time to notice that you're being vampirized off of. But they like it. They like that pain. They like the abuse. They like to be drained of their energy. If you look at a lot of vampire movies or shows or anything, you'll notice their victims, they want to get bit. They want to get drained. They want to get used. And that's kind of what this is. And I'm like, I'm Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, I'm sorry I have to come through the town. I have to, save the world. And, but this time I'm just going to save it for myself. I'm not going to help nobody else. Like, if you're, I don't know what to say. I'm not on your side. And I'm okay with that. Let's see. What time is it? 5:56. So we could work with the hours right now. So the whole time that it was 5 o'clock, let's see what energies were rolling around and see if that had anything to do with what we were talking about. So we're gonna go all the way down to 5 o'clock. I need more bookmarks in my book. All right. So this is the table of the planet and the hours or whatever. This is what it looks like. I like to color code it. It's 5 o'clock and it's a Wednesday, so it would be, let me see, at 8 o'clock you rise, and then that's 8 in the evening, so it would be 5 o'clock from sunset to sunset. Oh, let me think this over. This one's kind of difficult. I always get this one wrong for some reason. It's 5 o'clock. I think it would be Mars. Yeah, Mars. So we have Mars energy. I guess that kind of makes sense because I was working with Merrick's, and he's an Earl. So I guess, well, I painted him earlier. And he's an Earl. He's a Mars sign, Aries. He's pretty strong. He's confident. He's like war-oriented. And then you have Sun, which is next. So that's good for wealth and fortune and fame and love. There's a lot in common with Venus and the Sun because when you look at the chart, you have to just imagine it this way. Always imagine it this way because this is exactly what it is. All right, so north, east, south, west. The sun rises in the east, right? So you have the sun rising, that little Libra. And it's moving around and it's going here, but it's still the sun. Venus is still the sun. That's why it's the morning star. It's still the sun. It's moving. And then when it gets into this energy, this is like when it's saying that it's strong, that it's blessed, that it's in a good area. But it's still the sun. And then it goes into Mars. It's still the sun. And then it goes into this moon energy. And that's when the sun is like getting weaker. And the reason I put the moon right here is because you can still see the moon during the day at times. So I'm like, well, it has to be there. And over here, if you notice Cancer's right here with the moon, this is the time of the night when the moon is like really bright. So this gives you an idea of how the world looks. This is just basically a compass, but also like a picture of how the sky moves, or how the sun moves around in the sky. And so yeah, but this is like right when it hits here, this is when the sun starts going down, and you have that Jupiter energy. And then it goes into Mercury when the sun is rising back up and then comes back out. So these are all going to just basically represent the sun, except for maybe the moon and Jupiter. Jupiter also looks like Saturn backwards. So I guess that's kind of ties in with the story about how Zeus defeated his father. I don't know if it's Kronos or Saturn, but he defeated him. I like to think of Kronos and Saturn as the same person. Even Uranus. Like, there's nobody before Saturn. Saturn's always going to be like above them. He's going to be basically the dad. So whatever. And Saturn is also Mount Olympus. He's like the mountain, he's the planet, he's like us, he's the earth. It's that idea that this one whole thing. And then the other planets are just different phases that you're going through in that moment. Yeah. So I guess maybe that's why Saturn and Mercury both have that earth energy, but Saturn's mostly like kind of a death kind of thing. But that's what life is. It's a death cycle, whatever. Yeah, so I guess with the sun, who cares? I'm going to try to go back into the astral battle thing. All right. I get what? It was the hour of Mars. All right. And the next is sun. All right. So I guess that's what I was trying to say was Venus and the sun. Venus is all about love, and it's right next to the sun symbol. So it lets you know that you could still tap into that love. You could still tap into that wealth. You could like grab a whole bunch of energies and you can use it to your advantage. So I guess right now, even like talking about these kind of things puts energy into the universe. Making videos puts energy into the universe. If there's something that you want to do but you have a hard time doing, it's because you're meant to put that energy into the world. Even if nobody's watching your videos, even if you don't get famous off of it, just do it because it's going to benefit you in the end. Astrally, it's going to affect you. So like right now, I could do another ritual or be doing a ritual where I put solar energy into Mercury. So Mercury has maybe more mobility, maybe have more wealth on the astral realm. So I need to think a little bit of those kind of things. But as long as I speak and put them into the universe, it gives it a little kickstart so that later on when I get the opportunity to put a heavier ingredient or an offering in there that'll enhance those energies, I can know what I want to add, like a gold candle or something. Tomorrow's Thursday then. Thursday is wealth and money. Let's see. Yeah, I just literally, sometimes you just have to trust the spirits. Like, it might take a while. Sometimes it's like, all right, you're just putting a lot of magic, a lot of ritual, a lot of focus into something, and you're not really going to get results right away, but you just have to trust that you will get results. You will get what you want. You'll get what you need. Everything will go good. You just really have to be patient. I always tell people, trust the process, be patient, take your time. It's okay to rush. It's okay to take your time, go slow, whatever, just as long as you're still doing it. And you can even take a break. You can even like step back from the rituals and just trust whatever you have at work is going to get you somewhere. But I'm like full on through. I love sorcery, so I always love to keep practicing it, learning it, incorporating it into my life, and like until I can meld it where it's not, you can't separate it. Okay, so let's see. A king, we have Halphus. Who rules over these guys though? Let's kind of figure that one out. Oh, Asmodee. Let's do a little research on Asmodee and let's see if there's anything there. Asmodee, the 32nd spirit is Asmodee or Asmodai. He is a great king, strong and powerful. Remember, king means sun. Sun means Leo. Leo means fire. Fire means rods, wands, and clubs. All right, let's always remember that. You got to remember those. It's like a line of energies, and then eventually you're going to have to learn the angels. Let's see what angels are associated with the sun. Raphael, Michael, Sun, Gold, Yellow, Sunday. So those things, you kind of have to memorize them all. So that way when you're doing a spell, you're like, all right, I know all the ingredients I need. I know how everything works. There's parts in the book where they're like, okay, eventually you're not going to need all that information because you're already going to have it like ingrained into you where you already know the basics, and then you can kind of manipulate things the way you want to do them. But it's always best to do it that way first so you understand it. But for me, I've done it this way, I've done it other ways, and I love doing it this way. Like, I can't even go back to the other ways. I'm like, nah, I don't care if I get more results from those ones at times, but I want these results because these ones I feel like I want to train these spirits to the point where they can't mess up, like where nobody's stronger. Like, I don't want nobody to be able to stop them, or if I give them a command and I say like I want it this way, they're gonna do it that way, and I'm gonna keep training them till they get there. But until then, I have to be patient. And I have to trust them. They're like, they have energies, they have feelings, they have emotions, they have a mind, they have a spirit of their own, and I have to just, nurture it. All right, he's a great king, strong and powerful. He appears with 3 heads, where the first is like a bull, the second like a man, and the third like a ram. So let's kind of look at that real quick. If he has 3 heads, the first like a bull, the second like a man, and the third like a ram. Those are like the sun is rising, so there's that bull. Then the sun is like kind of in the sky, there's that face. And then it starts going down towards the evening, and then you have the ram. And then obviously it goes to sleep. He bathed, like a ram, he bathed also the tail of a serpent, and from his mouth issues flames of fire. So it just gives you an idea of what the sun looks like. And since he's at 32 is right here on the chart. Right there. That yellow one is 32, and that's where he's at. So during the day, he's in the evening time. And he got that Libra energy. He got Libra energy, Aries, Mars. He's a king. All right. So you get a description of like how do they come to these conclusions when they first built this. But this is old stuff. Like, sure, they interpreted it like, but also they got it from like old text, the way old magicians used to think. They pass it on, and eventually it just becomes kind of a myth. But there's like so much fact in there that you have to just like look at it. Kind of also like the story about Hermes. I think a really good thing to do is like, if you love Greek mythology, this is perfect for you, because when I was younger, I was like, I only believed in God, but I loved Greek mythology. So I'd always be like, how, like, I want them to be real, but I want them to be like, I don't know. I just had to always learn about them. I always had to learn about astrology. I always had to learn about the Greek mythologies, like why the stories happen. I would read them every day, like try to figure them out. But I think it helped because once I started learning how to use the key, you understand why the symbols are where they are, why the elements are the way they are. So when Hermes was born, this is him. He went and stole cows from Apollo. So of course Taurus is going to be there. And then you have other stories like Capricorn, and that's the horn of plenty. So that lets you know Zeus broke off the horn to get that, that benefits. And then you have Virgo, which is kind of like a mysterious sign that I'm still working on, but I'm thinking like it could have a lot of different meanings, like the Virgin Mary or something else. But then you have Gemini with the swans over here, so you can see Aphrodite's always battling for something. And then Aquarius is right here, and that's a story about Zeus coming in to like snatch up the kid and bring it up to Mount Olympus to be with him. So you kind of get this idea that he just, makes him his. I think the Virgo's like representative also of like Hera and Demeter, like just that feminine aspect of things growing and living. And then Libra, to me, it kind of represents Apophis, because he's like always eating the sun and then coming back out, and like that's kind of what that symbology is. You have to draw this magical circle of that serpent coiling around, And then Leo also has that look a little bit, but obviously it's lion. Sagittarius is over here, the Chiron, so you can see them right next to each other. So Hercules is always like, there's like a centaur that gets really jealous of Hercules and like poisons him. And I guess that's kind of where this comes in. And then you have, so that's why Scorpio is kind of important to remember. But also Venus is about poisons. And then you have Aries, which is kind of interesting. Golden fleece running over the water. So I guess, it kind of runs over the water eventually. And then you have like this energy. Well, Capricorn has a fishtail. This kind of ties everything in. The Cancer is just like this rotation. I don't know. There's just a lot of, it helps you be able to translate Greek mythologies a lot better. But I think, and also another important thing is, long time ago when they would write the Bible and the Torah and everything else, they used these symbols, they used this information. This was all together. This was all part of each other. And over time, like, we kind of separate it and say, no, Jesus is Jesus and Zeus is Zeus. No, like, these are all part of the same thing. Like, they're all the same story, just kind of fragmented and stretched out and just simplified, because if people knew what they could do with that, then it might be a little bit difficult for people to control each other. So like celebrities, artists, writers, directors, even politicians, they're all really educated and they know a lot about this stuff, or they know parts of it, and like they just know like different kinds of areas of what they can use it for, and they all have their special gifts. But me, I like to just go straight to the basics with like the deciphering the codex. That's why it's called the Key of Solomon. It's a codex for you to understand, to like decipher things and like figure things out. Yeah, so it's kind of like tarot reading as well. Like, you're using your intuition, but also your knowledge, and you're using what you have in front of you. And it's also a great way to like test your spiritual abilities and like how far you have come as a wizard or a sorcerer or a witch. And that's kind of stuff I just love. I just love it, love it, love it. I can't get enough of it. It's what I live for. It's what I do. It's who I am. Like, I don't want to stop. I can't stop. I won't stop. I won't stop being unique. I won't stop being magical. And I know there's other people out there who are like, no, I'm better at magic than you are. I love when people say that, because I love to battle. I'm like, oh, you want a wizard's duel? Let's go for it. Like, let's have a wizard's duel. Like, I'll use my magic, but like, I also have to be kind of careful, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, okay, boom, and then they end up getting hurt, and I'm like, yikes, my bad. And then there's other times where I never lose, so I'm like, nah, I'm never gonna lose, don't worry. But also, like, people just, they get full of themselves and kind of cocky, and they're like, no, I'm a better magician. I'm like, okay, let's go. But I kind of like that too, because it's fun to be competitive. It's fun to like test your abilities and see where they can go. But I know, like, with the Illuminati stuff, like, that's scary stuff, yo. Like, imagine, like, all right, they're high level wizards, all right? They are initiated, they're using their magic, they've gone to school for acting, so they have this like really good ability to be able to use magic and not even know that they're using magic. Musicians, politicians, etc., they all go to school for something, so they're intelligent beings, and I think that's what magic is a bit of intelligence. It's like the ability to say, like, this is doing something, but also they can be ignorant, of course. But when you're battling in the astral realm, like, those people, like, they're getting hurt. What are they gonna do? They're gonna come back and hurt you. But I don't know, like, maybe there's something different about you. I honestly, I would love to see somebody else do this kind of stuff and see how they reciprocate, like what happens to them. There's other YouTube people I see on YouTube that do something similar to this, and they're like, they got power, they love themselves, they're not afraid to use their magic to fight back, and I think that's amazing. And I love watching those channels, because I'm like, yeah, like, we're in this. Like, at least I know there's somebody else out there that has the same gifts. So there would be two that I could like straight up from the bat would be Priestess Aset Ra Amen. She's amazing. If you ever want to watch videos about anything that has to do with anything spiritual, magical, whatever, it could be anything, she's top tier up there. That's amazing stuff right there. Like, she's great. I would want to be her friend one day. Then you have Fame versus Sacrifice, which is Madame Soso. She's so intelligent. She knows a lot of stuff, and the way she describes it in detail and the way she speaks is beautiful. And I'm like, those are some amazing magicians. Those are some powerful sorcerers right there. And I love that. Like, I know for me, like, I'm stronger than everybody no matter what, but it lets me know, like, hey, like, there's other witches and wizards out there that are like, they're putting up a good fight, you know, to like, to prove themselves worthy in a sense that's honorable and true. And I think that's weird for people to hear, because, you know, usually when you think about a witch, you think, oh, witches are evil. And yeah, we're evil, but we also have values. Like, we have something inside of us that says what's right and wrong. And that's why people think we're evil, because, or that's why they know we are evil, because we're not afraid to go in there and do the bad magic and get shit done, and we're not afraid to do good magic. We pick our own path, and they don't like that. Humans don't like that. Humans are like, no, I want to live complacently, I want to live a normal life, I don't want to hurt nobody, I don't want to step on no toes. Like, girl, you got to step on toes, you got to like you got to shake some ruffles, some feathers, or whatever it's called. You got to do it. And then sometimes you're like, I don't want to do that, like, I'm a witch, I'm strong, I don't need to do that. And then that's right, like, you do what you want to do, like, you work hard for that. Like, spirituality is not easy. And then normal people like, oh, I work every day, I do all this, I do all that. It's like, oh well, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm a witch, my gifts are in magic, and I have to prove it one way or another, and you're in my way, and I gotta do it. All right, so yeah, let's see some other ones that I think are honorable mentions. Universal Mastery, I think his name is, it's like a Bible name, Jonah, no, I always remember it and then I forget it. Oh well, he used to be into sorcery, and now he's more into like self-help and motivation, and that's cool. I'm like, yeah, go for it, do your thing. Jeremiah Schwartz, there you go. Universal Mastery, he's really good. I like what he does, but I also feel like he doesn't give himself enough credit. But at the same time, I know he has to protect his brand, and he has to become, and he's always on YouTube, and he has to kind of like, he gets really crazy followers that are really like into demonology, but they don't really know how to like come down to earth and use it. They just kind of get stuck in the astral realm and go crazy. But I don't know, he's really good. He's very intelligent, he knows a lot, and I feel like I wish I was that kind of book smart. My book smart is different. Mine's like a video game. I'm a gamer all the way through, so I'm like, and a strategist. So I'm just like, I need the basics, most simple things. Like, the more complicated you make it, the less I'm interested in it. The more boring you make it, the less interested I'm in it. The less colors in it, I'm not interested. Like, I think I like things to be like a toy box. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I've always had really cool toy boxes, and that was my passion. I'm like, I have a toy box, a big toy box, I put a whole bunch of toys in there, and then I go get another toy box, and I put a whole bunch of toys in there, and that's how I like to do my magic. Like, just get everything that I like, that I want. I love to be spoiled, so I'm just like, boom, 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 and then use it against the world. I had another one. Okay, I'm not sure what this one is called, but there's like this blonde guy. I'll try to remember what he's called, but he's does a lot of research in magical energies and like what Satan is, what God is, and I think he hits the nail on the head, but I think also like he's too concerned with something that is just pure entertainment value. Like, God's cool and everything, but like, if you're thinking that he's just some kind of entity that's like out there to control you, I just feel like that's kind of like a waste of energy. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's like almost there, but it's just feeding to the masses of all the people that think kind of slow. Like, sometimes I'm like, does he have like an AI writing for him? Because I work on my chat GPT, and I'm just like, really, chat GPT, is this how you think? Like, this is how you work? Like, like, I need to work on you, because you do not have any originality. Like, you sound just like everybody else on YouTube. Like, it sounds like a script, like a really bad script, and it's like always the same jokes, always the same thing. I'm just like, God, you. Now I know who's using ChatGPT, because before I was like, they're just boring. Now I know why. Let's see. So I do like ChatGPT though. I want to use technology and witchcraft and like take over the world with it. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so we have all these elements that we're working with. Hermes is like a very intellectual president. He's quick, he's fast, he's moving, he's getting things done. Maybe something we could talk about is how God is that spiritual energy, but God isn't just one thing. God is a whole bunch of things. So because people are always like, what is God to you? And then they just think like, oh, he's one person. And it's like, no, he's a lot of things. So you have him in the center, whatever, he's Saturn. And then you have him coming out like, sometimes he's Venus, sometimes he's the sun, sometimes he's Mars, sometimes he's the moon, sometimes he's Jupiter, sometimes he's Mercury. So you could see him as Venus. He's still the sun in the sky. He's still the sun in the sky when he's the sun. He's still the sun in the sky when he's Mars. And then he got his reflection in the moon. But let's see. I don't know. It's like the sun gives off its light and it feeds the plants and the animals. And they grow. Those are still parts of God. We're still parts of God. And then there's atheists, people that are like, oh, well, God doesn't exist. I'm like, well, you exist, don't you? And I think something important that I want to involve into my games and into my teachings is to know that hell is a real thing. Growing up, when I would go to church and like have family around, hell was always a topic. Like, what does hell look like? How does it feel? Who's gonna go there? Am I gonna go there? How do you get there? Like, what's up with that place? And we would just talk about it all the time because it was such an important topic. It's like, it's the reason why you live. If you go to hell, it's over. Like, everything you feel here, you're gonna feel over there, but 10 times worse, like a billion times worse. And it's forever. Like, so if you could imagine that you're hurting right now, imagine that in hell, it's worse. And that's frightening. That maybe gives people a lot of anxiety. I don't know. But then you have to like step back and be like, all right, I know that God has his best interest for me, but that's the scary part too, because that's when the story kind of turns. It's like, another thing we would always talk about is like revelations in the end of the world. And I would ask a million questions because I'm like, I got to figure this one out because this is like a very important topic. But at the end of the world, God comes back. He doesn't come back to forgive you. He doesn't come back and be like, oh, okay, guys, I forgive you. And when I say God, I say Jesus. Like, that's the Messiah head, the Messiah figure. Like, he's going to come back. He says, like, hey, you guys are doing good. You guys are doing bad. But he punishes you. Even if you're good, like, he'll still punish you. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's like, I got a mission and I have to get it done. And you guys are in my way. So I kind of put that into my magic. Like, all right, I gotta go do this magic. Sorry you get in the way, but you're part of it, and you can't exclude yourself from it. You can't make any excuses. You're not gonna put more work on my head. You're not gonna make me stress out. Like, if you're in the way, ka-ching, you're out of the way. Like, I gotta really use my magic. But it's like important to know, like, a lot of people you're gonna meet in this world, they're not going to go to heaven. They're not going to be there with you. They're going to go to hell. That place is a scary place. You're tortured for eternity. Your worst nightmares. So that's why a lot of people go into sin, where they're like, oh, I'm better than God, or I don't believe in God, or I'm just going to pretend that I'm doing the right thing. But in reality, like, deep down inside, I don't care about God. I don't care about what's happening. And even you can love everything and do everything that God wants, but he'll still destroy you and send you to hell, and you're still screwed. Like, that kind of stuff can still happen. So it's kind of like, what's right, what's wrong. And I wish I could say that for you, because I'm really good at it. Like, if people, like, I remember growing up and I was around a lot of bad people, and they're like, I'm messing up, what do I do? And I could help them. But now I'm just like, you know what, I'm not helping nobody. Like, I don't like any of you guys. Like, the people that I helped back then, like, I love them. The people now, they're not worthy. So you kind of have to just understand, when you're using magic, there's repercussions, there's a balance, there's a tip to the scale. You're weighing your heart out on the feather, but you kind of have to, I don't know, I don't want to say, you have to just trust yourself, I guess. But at the same time, you might be screwed over at the end of the day. And I think that's where, like, it tests you to see, like, what kind of person you are, and what your values are, and what you're going for. Like, what are your heart's intentions? And I think with the Ars Goetia, it could be difficult because it really puts you to your limit, where it's like, it gets you to be somebody that you don't want to be or that you don't usually see yourself as. So it's a lot of shadow work, but it can be really beneficial if you're a really expert magician. And it's also kind of a way to say, like, am I worthy? Because if you're not worthy, you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to do that, or I don't think I should do that, or I'm not good enough, or this isn't right, or, you know, you just come up with a lot of excuses not to do it. But then you're like, there's more, like, I guess a good example would be like, I saw this lady, she was like, I need help, I went and helped her. There's another time where I saw somebody fighting, I'm like, hell no, I'm not going to be part of that, adios, bye. Like, you kind of have to pick your battles, choose your fights, whatever. But I know what path I'm on, and that's important for me. And if people are on it, they're on it. If they're not, they're not. And I just have to kind of keep going with that magical energy. All right, so I'm gonna cut it short, 5 minutes or whatever. But I'll try to think of another topic and then make another video right now. Okay, thank you. Bye.